JavaScript QuickStart Guide, the simplified beginner's guide to building interactive websites and creating dynamic functionality using hands-on projects. Written by Robert Oliver. Narrated by Caz Lalonde. Copyright 2025 by ClydeBank Media, LLC. Production copyright 2025 by ClydeBank Media, LLC. Please note that your purchase of this audiobook includes a downloadable companion PDF containing all the figures and visual aids referenced throughout this audiobook. Your purchase of this audiobook also includes free lifetime access to digital assets, which contains supplemental resources that enhance the content of this audiobook and maximize the value of your purchase. We highly recommend accessing the companion PDF and digital assets for the best listening experience. Visit www.go.quickstartguides.com/JavaScript to access the vault and download your companion PDF and supplemental materials. Note: JavaScript QuickStart Guide is a code-intensive book. To ensure an optimal listening experience, due to their length, complexity, or to preserve the proper syntax, lines of code will not be read aloud but will be referenced. All examples of code can be found in the companion PDF and/or the QuickStart Guide's GitHub repository. Accessing the ClydeBank Media GitHub repository will be covered in more detail later in the book. To ensure the best possible experience, it is highly recommended that you follow along with the provided companion PDF or the print or ebook version of this title. If you have not received a companion PDF with your purchase of this audiobook, please visit www.go.quickstartguides.com/JavaScript or contact support@quickstartguides.com. There are two different types of callouts that will be used throughout the text: snippets and code lines. The most important segments of code will be referred to as snippets, followed by two sets of numbers or a name. The first set of numbers refers to the chapter, and the second set refers to its placement in that chapter. For example, snippet 02-03 will refer to the third snippet in chapter 2. Alternatively, snippets may have a name, like snippet index.html. Each of these snippets corresponds to a snippet in the GitHub repository, where you can easily copy the code for your own use. Snippets can also be found within your companion PDF. Smaller chunks of code, iterations on examples, complex URLs, and any other odds and ends will be referred to as code lines and follow the same naming conventions as snippets. For example, you may hear, as seen in code line 6-1. This would refer to the first code line in chapter 6. These code lines are not included in the GitHub repository, but are located in your companion PDF. Introduction. Welcome to JavaScript QuickStart Guide. My name is Robert Oliver, and I'll be your guide through learning how to use JavaScript to add fun and useful interactive elements to websites. I grew to love JavaScript, and you will too. Let me start by being brutally honest. At first, I didn't like JavaScript. I found JavaScript clunky and annoying. When I needed interactivity on a website, I'd reach for a server-side language like PHP or Python to get the job done. This worked, but didn't accomplish the immediate experience I wanted for the visitors to the websites I built because all the interactivity had to be engineered on the server, not in the visitor's browser. When Chrome's V8 JavaScript engine, the part of Google Chrome that runs JavaScript, came on the scene, I was blown away by its speed. The engineers at Google certainly wove some magic into its construction, giving Chrome a significant advantage over its competitors with stellar JavaScript performance. To add even more utility to the JavaScript language, Node.js, built on V8, was released, bringing the phenomenal performance of Chrome's JavaScript engine to the server. Now I could use the same language on the server that I used in the browser, and all was right with the world. Armed with this new experience, I grew to love the JavaScript language, finding incredible utility in its nuanced features. I realize there are some potentially new concepts and terms mentioned above. Don't worry about what it all means yet. We'll cover JavaScript's history and versions briefly in Chapter 1. The main thing you need to know for now is that once you see the power of JavaScript and learn how easy it is to get started, you'll love it too. What can JavaScript do? It would be easier to answer what JavaScript cannot do. JavaScript is being used for a wide variety of tasks, far more than it was originally designed for. JavaScript is currently being used for the following applications: web pages, full web applications, mobile app development, video games, desktop applications, blockchain technologies, automation and testing. Knowing JavaScript puts you in an awesome position to work on some of the fastest growing technologies of our time. Why learn JavaScript? I'm not the only software developer to recognize all that JavaScript brings to the table. The very fact you're reading this book shows you have the wisdom to see the value of JavaScript. It's an incredibly pervasive web programming language. In fact, along with a few other languages, proficiency with JavaScript is frequently listed as a job requirement by employers seeking to hire web developers. Since the introduction of HTML5, JavaScript has been fully, or at least widely, supported by all the major web browsers. You can use JavaScript to create interactive websites that run smoothly on mobile and other platforms. And now with Node.js, you can add JavaScript's capability to connect interactive websites to the data sources that power them. Do I need to know HTML and CSS? In a word, yes. But detailed, in-depth knowledge of the intricacies of these two markup languages is not required. The more you know about web design in general, the faster you'll be able to put JavaScript to work on your websites. That said, in this book, we'll assume only basic knowledge of hypertext markup language, or HTML, and cascading style sheets, or CSS. There's a quick refresher on the fundamentals of web design in Appendix 1. Front-end versus back-end. To really explore the true power of JavaScript, we'll need to first define a few terms. The front end of a website refers to the experience of the user in the web browser. The front end is what users see when they read, use, or otherwise interact with a website. The back end refers to the server and related processes that deliver the page to the front end. This can be as simple as a basic web server sending an HTML page to the user's web browser, or as complex as a real-time interactive dialogue between browser and server. You can see the effects of JavaScript on websites when you hover over menus, drag elements from one area to another, or scroll with your mouse and notice that certain elements move while others stay static, and when page elements are animated. Of course, JavaScript can do more than this inside the web browser, but these are common manifestations of JavaScript code on the front end. Back-end JavaScript isn't easy to see because it's running on the server. You can't see that code, but you can interact with it. When you add a product to the cart, place an order, or post an image to social media, JavaScript is likely working in the back-end to make that happen. In fact, JavaScript is not only popular for providing website functionality, but is frequently used as the back-end interface for mobile applications. It's quite likely that your favorite social media app or mobile game is using JavaScript to save your content or track your game progress. How to use this book. As we progress through this book, you'll not only learn JavaScript, but build some interesting projects along the way, including a fully interactive website for a fictional coffee shop we'll call the ClydeBank Coffee Shop. In parts 1 through 3, we'll work in the front end, adding fun, interactive elements to the website. Then, in part 4, we'll add back-end code to the website, allowing it to process orders. Working through these exercises will give you the skills you need to build a functional e-commerce website that looks great and is a joy to use. I'm not a fan of burdening you with a lot of theory before we get to code. Instead, you'll take a different approach, one that emphasizes showing, not telling, how to program. You'll be able to use this knowledge right away.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?